energy rune bug where it looks like it's still up, but it is in fact not.
Alright, X-Lucid getting up there first, putting down his Earth Storm to prevent those projectiles. Worm Team Inhibitor getting a nice spell block off on Shiro.
But he does have his barrier up at that point, so that was going to protect him. Shiro's still going down to about 50% health now. And Worm Team Inhibitor does have a Deadly Injectile. He has his ultimate.
Oh, and X-Lucid's ult comes out, but Shiro gets out of that with a nice space. Doesn't take a lot of damage because he had that shield up.
So, counter
And yeah, a nice goo going off on Jayhag there, who's taking a bunch of damage. And he had to throw up his shield.
Worm Team seems like they're just getting pushed back at this point here. Oh, and a meter on
good
Shiro.
Meteor.
Yeah, that takes him out right there.
Meat Bolt coming out on Cold Team's Alchemist by X-Lucid. Good in-cap. Cold Teams can still do this. Their Nomad still has a bunch of health, and Nomad has some decent burst ability. So if Evil Onyx didn't run right up to that Glutton there.
And that ult from Chemic is in just the desperate situation there to try and do a little bit of damage, but could not kill the Worm Team Glutton enough. I am going to mute my Skype sounds because someone will not stop.
Stop messaging you or
Yes.
something? Get those little annoying ping sounds.
And
Exclusive doing
everyone
the
on
same
the stream
thing.
can hear it too.
Yeah, throwing down that Earth Storm to make zoning a little bit easier. Another Earth Storm, preventing
Definitely on
that
that rune.
Nomad. No one's grabbed the rune yet. It looks like Chemic's going to do it. Now he's going to have a 70 energy as opposed to the 40 or so of everyone else.
Jayhag taking a lot of pressure there, going down to about 50.
And he's got his ult now, and let's see if he uses it on Jayhag, who just spaced, so it would be a good time to use it. There we go. Although he had his space back up by the time that happened, and Shiro goes down.
One after the next. Did not really have too much of a situation.
This is a good goo on two people, but they both spaced out. And
They both had their space, so it was a little bit ill-timed, but very nicely placed. And that Boomstorm, same thing, really. Jayhag still had his space up. Evil Onyx just almost down, had to escape from that point, but that let Chemic go down at that point.
yeah, that's the advantage of running a Blood Priest with double tank, is that the tanks don't need a lot of healing, so the Blood Priest can just space around all he wants, and when you try to pressure him, he just usually has an out up.
And of course that kind of EX fear can be used as an escape.
An interrupt, yeah, an offensive.
And also as an interrupt as well. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and Worm Team takes that 3-0, guys, so we're going to move on to another game.
And apparently me restarting my game made me lose all of my channels, so I will not be in a game for a little while. So if you can get into one and then invite me, that would work perfectly.
Yeah, I think I want to watch a game by, say, Kung Fu and Wildstorm. See if they're in a game here.
I think that might have been the variety one that I was sitting in.
Oh, is that the one that,
Yeah,
okay.
they're still sitting there.
Alright, let's see what Flava Kid's team is up to. Looks like it's Flava Kid, Veil, and Renus. And
you
they've
in that
just
one
won
yet?
the first round. Blood Priest, they're running Blood Priest, Stalker, and looks like Engineer against Worm Team's Alchemist, Metal Ward, and Glutton. So we're going to see how this goes.
Cold Team getting pushed back between these two shacks here is going to concede the energy rune to the Worm Team. But
Metal Warden taking a bunch of damage, 90%. Flava Kid gets his all out right away and takes the Metal Warden down. Now he's probably going to take down the Alk as well with those 27 damage back hits.
yeah, he did use his EMP a little bit early, so he didn't have it in order to dispel that barrier. But of course, it didn't much matter at that point what he did.
People are saying that you should change to free camera to fix the choppiness.
Okay, I can do that.
You know, just
Especially on a small map like this, I really only need to zoom in and out. I don't really need to have to move in or out or anything like that.
Yeah.
So Crow moving in. Looks like they're going to try and do this rune pressure that we saw last time here. Rinus taking a little bit of damage there to about 75.
Getting that enlarged from Flava. Flava gets incapped there, and Crew's trying to get back onto people here.
Yeah,
Rina's putting a lot of damage on the Alchemist, following up that meteor, but the barrier gets popped. Another meteor on him. They're just straight going out for the Worm Team Alchemist, taking him down.
Yeah. And Veil might actually go down there, but he uses his Aegis, and instead Crow does go down at that point. And of course, Xantek's all by himself.
Yeah, so and just the damage coming out of Cold Team here is definitely overwhelming the Worm Team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a nice 3-0 from them.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely some good Stalker and Engineer play.
Mm-hmm. So
right.
I was invited back into Binary's game here. I don't know if they're going to start yet. If they all just push the ready button, which would be around here, I could click it for them. But then we would start this off.
Yeah, and the stream chat wants you to zoom in a little bit when you're using the free cam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just follow the action with it.
I could definitely do that.
Yeah, so I'm starting to regret drinking all that water now.
Oh yeah, that is something that I've kind of learned over time is you have to take small sips, just enough to fill up your mouth.
Yeah, it's a little bad when you have a liter of mineral water sitting right next to you and you just...
Oh boy.
You forget that you're not supposed to drink it all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we're just waiting for them to ready, guys, so should happen. Not sure why they're not readying yet. Maybe bathroom breaks as well. We're not sure.
Now, I'm not entirely sure. Oh, can you see what I said? Because I can't see what I say in...
Yes, I can see the observer chat. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's working.
Okay, so
right,
they
here we go.
have finally pushed ready. Alright.
I'm guessing Strad and Finliv are going to go with that Igniter Herald that they've been playing the whole time.
Mm-hmm. That seems to be their comp.
Yeah, usually running Harb. So I think we're just going to see there... Doesn't look like any changes are going to be made composition-wise. Which is probably wise because, you know, people are just playing so many teams in this round robin that, you know, you just want to stick with your comp.
Yeah.
And yes, it is indeed going to be Harbinger and Igniter, which actually is a fairly even matchup. Harb versus Igniter in kind of a 1v1 setting is...
An even more even matchup is Herald versus Herald.
Well, that is certainly true.
Unless if they have different medallions, then...
Yeah, different medallions can
change that matchup a little bit.
Yeah, and it looks like Wildstorm's going with the Gunner again, so we're going to see the Harb Gunner. We're going to see if that can trump Cold Team's composition, which I believe they are undefeated with, if anyone can confirm that. It's kind of hard to keep track of all the teams in this round robin, but...
Oh yeah, and the brackets are so huge, and there's really not all that much reason to look at them when there's a game going on pretty much all the time. So
Puka spacing up, putting that Shadow Bolt out for the zoning.
And
He's going to use his R in, which might get him in trouble, but no, he had to space back up to get out of that. Oh, and a reflected Shadow Bolt right into Mithron. But no one capitalized on that, so...
Puka shift-R'ing in again. He is about a half health there. And an ult coming out from
coming out with his ult, and Strad's going to ult right after that. Nice combination of ults to put out a bunch of damage there. Puka goes down from that.
Counter ult from Wildstorm takes Strad down to about 25% health there.
If Wildstorm could land, you know, a nice execute on someone when they don't have the recovery health up like that.
Yeah, that would definitely help. I mean, a doubled execute right there. Amazingly good. And Mithron going down to
Strad taking his M2s in the face, but Wildstorm goes down to Binary's pressure, and looks like Cold Team's going to take this game.
There we go.
Sorry, round.
First round.
Finliv rocking the rock star Herald, which is just frankly very sexy.
Indeed.
And we're going to see if Worm Team makes any adjustments to deal with the double range setup that the Cold Team's kind of running here. You know, maybe play a little more turtley. See if they can't land some of those executes and shuttables.
And it does look like they are still staying pretty aggressive here. Strad getting triangled for a little bit there, takes him down to about 50% health. And Wildstorm jumping back. And we do see just a huge number of swaps back and forth. It's almost like watching tennis here. Mithron going down to about
a bunch of damage from that volcano combo. It looks like and there he goes.
There he goes down. And we could see an ult with counter ult. Decides not to do that from Wildstorm there. He still has his ult. And decides to use it on Binary's shield. That definitely hurt him. Probably more than it hurt Binary at that point. And Puka does go down right there.
Wow, and Cold Team's Leash plus Volcano is just... It's just a deadly combo. They're putting out so much damage just using all of Binary's incaps that he has playing Metal Warden to put out full damage from Igniter.
Yep. And Wildstorm deciding to camouflage up this time and dodging that spell block right there. And spell blocking Metal Warden's Metal Blast at that point. It looks like Cold Team getting pushed back here, and Strad's going to grab the energy. And once again, it looks like this team might actually flip, but Finliv is triangled here, and regardless, Puka taking a huge amount of damage, down to about 15 there.
Oh, and there he goes. He goes down.
And Strad uses his ult right there. Mithron seems to be the target. He's back in this corner here. Oh, and that ultimate was reflected. Binary's ultimate was reflected. Back into his own
Worm
face.
Team still could do this if they can get some burst off. Oh, and looks like the time has kind of passed. Binary pulling out that healing beam to get Finliv back up.
Strad is definitely the closest to being killed at this point here. And a little bit of an ultimate from Mithron there.
Double ult, and they even it up. Nice. Now it's going to be a 2v2, and we're going to see who wins this now. Although we know that both Binary and Finliv are very good 2v2 players.
Yes. And comp-wise, this seems like it would be against the Worm Team, given how they had a range. And there we go. Cold Team finishing this up in their favor, 3-0.
All right, very nice.
And
if you'll excuse me for about 60 seconds, I stop to the restroom.
Certainly. In the meantime, I will probably jump into MHappy's game, which is actually private. Droopy's game, which is also private. Finliv's game, which is half empty. Amazing. Is this game still empty as well? No, it's not empty. It's filled up with random people. Amazing. Let's see. Is that game private? Yes, it is. Everybody stop making private games. All right. Jags is not full yet. And I was about to join into Lucid, but it appears that he's already in this game. I see. All right.
All right, and I am back.
We have joined into Lucid's game.
Okay.
Excuse the cat in the background that's sneezing his head off. This poor cat has been sick for weeks now. Has decided to walk into my room just now. So this game actually hasn't started yet. This is...
Let's wait for that to start, and it looks like they're going to go through map bans, of course. Just talking about the teams, we've seen from X-Lucid's team that they've been running their Glutton